In this video, we are going to be talking about the sexless marriage. No fun, right? No. We are Casey and Megan Caston of Marriage 365, and we are a nonprofit dedicated to helping couples connect with a variety of resources.
Obviously, your sex life is a vital part of your relationship. It's a connector. It's a secret language between two lovers. Ooh. And it's interesting because, I mean, sex obviously satisfies a very base biological need, but also it satisfies this intense emotional need for love and belonging. So when sex is good, it's good, right? But there's seems to be some sort of multiplier, because when it's bad, it's not just bad, it's really bad. And couples that are in a sexless marriage are in the danger zone. They are lonely spouses, and we are driven for connection. So if we can't find it inside a relationship, these are the spouses that are driven to affairs, addictions. They use substances to numb out pain. So it is a real marriage killer. Now I want to talk about a couple barriers that couples experience in a sexless marriage, barriers that keep them from getting it on in the bedroom. Yeah. The first one is obviously a mismatched hormonal level. So testosterone drives that sexual desire and need. And so if there's just medications that can whack that out, there's life choices and life situations, stresses.
But sometimes it's just one spouse has a high sex drive.
That's right.
And one spouse has a low sex drive.
Right.
So that's just sometimes what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
So unresolved conflict is a huge barrier that we encounter.
Huge barrier.
Huge. Because it's the unresolved issues outside the bedroom that keep couples from getting it on inside the bedroom. Anger, resentment, unforgiveness. There's this tension that couples have. And so, you know, sex is obviously this release. It's vulnerable, but you can't do that when you're so closed up and tight.
When you're resentful. And I would say too, for women, we need to feel that emotional connection in order to have great sex and to be willing to have it and wanting to have it. So yeah, if there's unforgiveness and unresolved issues, we typically put up a wall for sure. Another really common barrier, you guys, that we're seeing more and more is stress. Oof. Stress, we say, is the #1 libido killer. We are too busy, too maxed out with our schedules. We have too much on our plate. We don't tell people no. We have no boundaries and no limits. And because of that, we are stressed. Not to mention that many people work way more than 40 hours a week. And I'm talking 70, 80, 90 hours a week. And that's just gonna cause stress.
And by the end of the day, they're just so tired. They're like, I can't even think about having sex.
Absolutely. Another thing kind of on the same lines as stress would be just not making it a priority. That you've made your hobbies, your friends, your kids, your job, you know, your career, whatever that is, a larger priority than taking time to have sex. And let's be honest, it takes time to have sex. It takes energy and it takes time. It's a really good workout, actually. Yeah. But, you know, sure, sometimes, you know, quickies are great. But genuinely speaking, if you want to have a great sex life, you're going to have to spend 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes on foreplay and showering and all of that good stuff.
But who has time for that?
And if you're maxed out with your schedule and you're not making your sex life a priority, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about ED. It is not on the rise, but it is.
What is ED, babe, for those people that don't know?
Erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
We are hearing from more and more couples that are experiencing erectile dysfunction, and there is a very distinct correlation and relationship between porn usage and erectile dysfunction. There's a lot of reasons why ED could impact a relationship, but porn usage, being that it's so prevalent now in our society, that is becoming a big, huge barrier in the bedroom. And we can go, there's a huge amount of conversation around that, of what porn does, setting up the fantasy that cannot be actualized in real life. Yeah,
we actually have an entire webcast that you can find on our site on the effects that pornography has. But erectile dysfunction, it's on the rise. It's genuinely, it's becoming more common, and it's, you know, men are watching pornography 1, 2, 3 times a day. So of course they can't get it up for their wife.
Correct.
So
another barrier is a hyper-religious upbringing, okay? So if you've been raised in a church environment that has shamed the topic of sex, saying that, you know, don't do it. It's bad. It's naughty. You can't do it until you're married. You hear about the sexually active high school students and they're kind of, ushered out the back. They're shamed. That can be a very bad scripting because all of a sudden one day it's bad. And then once you say I do, all of a sudden it's good. That's a huge barrier to overcome.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And our last barrier would be childbirth and parenting.
Oh, parenting.
So for those of you who have kids, let's all take a deep breath. Young kids, right? Not only, of course, is your body healing after you have a baby for us ladies, but oftentimes your newborn sleeps in bed with you, right in between mom and dad. You're barely getting sleep. Kids require so much time and energy, and they're very demanding. Their schedules are demanding, and so you're just physically exhausted, mentally exhausted, and oftentimes that's a massive barrier.
I'm exhausted just talking about it.
I know, right? Now, luckily, the childbirth and the parenting is just a season, and we want to invite you guys to actually watch our entire webcast on the Sexless Marriage, where we give you a list of over 20 different barriers, and then we don't just leave you there because we're very practical. We want to give you the tools. We give you 4 steps to take to kind of move from a sexless marriage to a thriving, healthy sex life. Now, we would define a sexless marriage as having sex 5 times or less a year. But that's our definition.
Yeah.
And genuinely, you could be having sex with your spouse once, maybe even twice a month, but you want it more and you feel like you're in a sexless marriage. So this webcast genuinely is for everybody. We invite you to watch it. With the webcast comes couples connecting questions where we give you the questions to have an open and honest and vulnerable conversation with your spouse so that you can have a great sex life.
But like you said, we also give you the action plans. We don't want to just overwhelm you with a bunch of information. We want to tell you exactly what you need to do next so that you can get your marriage back on track. Go check it out. Now, we offer a free 7-day trial. Kick the tires, see if it works for you. Visit www.nakedconversations.org and start your free trial today.
Thanks, guys.